All right, Eric Arnold here, wee hours of the morning on Monday, the 22nd of July. We're living through 7 days in July, I guess. That's a takeoff on the old movie from 1962 with Kirk Douglas, Burt Lancaster, 7 Days in May, a movie about traitors and coups. And that's perhaps is what may be happening right now. So I'm sure you've seen that a letter was sent out on White House stationery, allegedly signed by Joe Biden, that he is dropping out of the race. And it's very suspicious. And then another tweet, or X. Do we keep calling it tweets even though it's now called X? But I guess there's no verb for, X. So I guess it's a tweet. But that they're endorsing Harris, that the Bidens are endorsing Harris. The Obamas have chosen specifically to not endorse Harris, basically endorsing everyone but Harris. The New York Times has immediately jumped out and endorsed everybody but Harris. So the Civil War continues, that they are not satisfied with Biden being out. Some are okay with Harris, and then some are not okay with Harris. So, interesting. Now, what I find disturbing is the fact that no one's seen Joe Biden in, since early Thursday morning? I think the last time this guy was seen in public, he was flying back from Nevada. They shoveled his COVID-ridden body into the limousine, the Secret Service helping the crippled old man into the limousine, and no one's seen him since. No one's seen Jill Biden, no one's seen Hunter Biden. Where are these people? This is so bizarre. This is like the Soviet Union used to be. Here a guy abdicates power, steps down essentially from the most powerful position in the world, and by not running for re-election, he has essentially given up power. He is, at best, a lame duck now. At worst, he's no longer in control of the country. Somebody is, but it ain't him. Now everybody's laughing, saying, well, we knew that already. Well, yeah, of course, Joe Biden hasn't been running anything, and he hasn't been for a long time. But probably some people in his inner circle have been, like Jill Biden. Well, now she's out too. So who's running the country? It's kind of scary, Where are these people? How in the hell do you step down from the presidency with a letter sent out via the internet? That, again, this is the Soviet Union from 40, 50 years ago. You young people may not remember how that was. Well, I do, because I lived through it. You would hear news reports of what goes on in those countries, and I guess China's somewhat the same way, in that you're not getting a clean or clear answer what's going on in that country because they have so many restrictions on the foreign media. So you'd hear that, this faction's not happy with that faction. And then whoever the leader is, premier, whatever the hell, suddenly that guy disappears from public sight. And you don't see him for a few days, maybe a week, sometimes even longer. Oh, President blah, blah, blah. He has the flu. He has a cold. Does that sound familiar? We don't know where he is. And we'd all laugh because that's code for he has a lead poisoning flu. That guy's dead. He's gone. He's died, and right now they're having an internal struggle as to who's in charge. So that's precisely what's going on right now. That there is a battle going on in this country, not only to see who the Democrat nominee is, I think to try to figure out who's running the country. Where are the Bidens? It's been 4 or 5 days, and they abdicated power, which they swore they were not going to do, and then they just do it without appearing or speaking to us. Very, very strange, very disconcerting. Now, I'm sure some communists are going to pop up at, whether it be them or somebody else, within the next 24 to 48 hours, will pop up and tell us it's all okay, that Joe Biden is either still running the country and he's rallied from his sickbed to speak to us, to tell us that he's going to do what he swore he never would do, which is not run for president, and try to probably just gaslight us and tell us that he never said the other thing, which he does all the time. He just, I never said that. It's like, yeah, I know you don't remember it because you're, demented, but you did say it. In a way, I guess it doesn't matter. He hasn't been running the country for many months, if not years, so now he's not running it at all. Now, what are they going to do with him? I don't know. I think the Republicans probably should try the 25th Amendment him, because this is ridiculous. If the guy can't run for office, which he clearly wants to do, he's not competent enough to do that, then how could he be running the country? So, come on. Let's, you basically dare the Democrats to say the emperor has no clothes. And if, because of political considerations, maybe that's a deal they cut with him to get him out, is that he would continue to get to ride around and pretend that he's running things for another 6 months. So maybe they can't vote against him because they cut a deal with this guy. Well, then we try to embarrass them and just make them look like the hypocritical assholes they are. Ultimately, I don't think it really matters one way or the other. It probably hurts the Democrats a little more if Biden sticks as president. It just makes them look like, it looks bad. It just looks bad. There are a handful of Americans out there that are still looking for good governance. Good luck with that. And they might look at that and go, this is just unseemly. I mean, I know I hate Trump, because, of course, the media has been so successful in making that most people's default setting. I hate Trump. I couldn't tell you why, but mean tweets, I guess. But this is really kind of ugly. Really is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. This is not democratic at all. This is Soviet-esque. So where to? What's happening? Who's going to be the nominee? Harris, backed by the Clintons, backed by a lot of the Congress right now. I think the progressives are lining up behind her. Obama pointedly not backing Harris. The New York Times pointedly not backing Harris. I don't know who they are backing, though. That's the question. Whitmer seems to have stepped back for the moment, but that could change in a heartbeat. In other words, a politician, what they said today has no bearing on what they're actually going to do. Newsom, same deal. He's kind of sitting back and waiting to see. Shapiro wants to be in it. Josh Shapiro, who's that? He's the governor of Pennsylvania. Our governor, our hero. He won in a landslide. Was it in 23? Or was it 22? I forget. But he was elected governor in a landslide here in Pennsylvania because the GOP party did not back his opponent. They spent absolutely no money on the guy. They just let him twist and lose. It was disgusting. And now, of course, what you have is a powerful Democrat sitting governor who thinks he's super popular because no one's ever told him otherwise. So he's thinking, hey, I'm so damn popular. He showed up at a ball game Saturday night. I'm at the baseball game in Pittsburgh. Full house, Phillies are in town, packed, Who shows up right before the first pitch, right out there at home plate? Josh Shapiro. What's he doing there? What's he doing there? He wasn't on the list of things I was supposed to see that day. Why is he there? He's running for something. He's trying to be elected to something. So I think it's pretty clear he wants in. Now, that may be as Kamala's VP. That could happen. Right now I saw there's a betting website of some type. European, no doubt, because you're not allowed to bet on this stuff within the country, within the United States. But the Europeans can bet on it. I believe the thing's called Predict It or something to that effect. He leads there. He is their favorite to become Harris's VP. Possible, very possible. I mean, in other words, if Harris is the nominee, and that's probably the most likely scenario, Shapiro, he's not a clown like Harris is. So he would help the ticket just from that standpoint. I guess in a way, you would be hard-pressed to find a more clownish person than Kamala Harris. So almost by accident, whoever they put on the ticket in the VP slot will improve that ticket, because Harris is about as bad as it gets. Now, they have a real Jewish problem in the Democrat Party. A good percentage of their party hates the Jews. And Shapiro's Jewish. And he's not a little Jewish. He's, wear the star on the sleeve Jewish. I could care less. But they hate that. A good number of their people hate that. Genocide, don't you know? Holy cow, genocide. So that, I don't know where Kamala, I think, is pretty squarely in the Hamas camp. Shapiro perhaps balances that somewhat, but to get the nomination all by himself at the top, Shapiro on top and fill in the blank below, I don't know how he gets around the Jewish thing. I really don't. I don't know he's on the ticket just because of that. These people are loud. Maybe they're not that numerous, but they certainly make themselves seem numerous by being loud. And some key states, like, okay, you put Shapiro on the ticket, you get Pennsylvania. Probably. Well, you're going to lose Michigan then, right? That's all I've been told, is that there's all kind of Arab Americans up there in Michigan. Genocide. And you put a Jewish person on the ticket, I really kind of think they're not voting for that. That's just a guess. It's too soon to tell. I mean, this is going to play out. They're in no rush right now. They can play this all the way to the third week in August, and they probably will. So Harris at the moment has gathered the initial momentum, but that really doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. Once the Obamas and their people find somebody that they want to push, then it's going to be on. Will Harris be able to hold that person off, whoever that is? Now you're asking me, well, who is that? Whitmer maybe. I've been on record forever saying Michelle Obama. And she continues to say, I'm not interested, I hate politics. But yeah, maybe. We'll see. I predicted that. Ted Cruz has predicted that. But we'll see. It's not going to reveal itself in the next few days. What else? Israel. One more kind of non sequitur here. This is just a local story that I found strange for you Pennsylvania politic people. I am represented here in the state of Pennsylvania, the barn. We are represented by a man named Mark Gillen, Gillen, Mark Gillen. He's a Republican. I was very dissatisfied with his efforts in the pandemic, which I thought were humiliating and embarrassing. just basically crawled into a little ball rather than representing his constituents who had their rights systematically stripped for, 18 to 24 months. Well, he's still our rep, of course, but he was last sighted in Tel Aviv, Israel. Tel Aviv, Israel. This guy lives like 2 miles from my house. Yeah, and he's in Israel. Apparently the local newspaper, reported that this guy was near this attack that took place, I guess, over the weekend, where the Houthis, bombed Tel Aviv with something, rockets or a drone, some big explosion. And apparently he was in the building or hotel right next to it. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. But what I took from that is, what is he doing there? What are you doing there? I mean, I just, to my knowledge, he's not Jewish. To my knowledge, he has no ties to Israel. Why are you in a country that's at war? That seems like just a real weird place to take a vacation. And if you're on official business, you're representing me, what are you doing over there? What exactly? So that was just, very confusing to me. That was a question that I had, and I may call his office tomorrow just out of fun, just to hear some, little 22-year-old stammer and go, and she probably doesn't know. She probably, I don't know. So yeah, I didn't think you would, but I just thought, maybe that the rep had left, a message perhaps for us, or his dumbass constituents, that, yeah, I was out there representing you, trying to get some Israeli manufacturing concern to come here and build a factory, build it in Eric's backyard, and have lots of jobs, and open up a new bar, and all things he would like. So, okay, good. I just didn't know. It just seemed kind of weird. You're over there in a war-torn country. What are you doing there? It's not like, he represents the state of Pennsylvania. He's not in Congress. There's no international component to this guy's job unless he's trying to somehow woo some international firm into investing in our district. Just very strange. All right. Assassination. Ron Johnson is a senator in Wisconsin. He's one of the good guys. He's a Republican. So he's taken it upon himself to try to gather information about what has happened 8 days ago, in case you somehow missed it because the media is trying to cover the story up. President Trump, the leading candidate for the presidency, which will allegedly, the election will be held the first Tuesday in November of this year. He's still the favorite. Was almost murdered in an assassination attempt. And everybody seems to just want to forget about it. The government has done everything in their power to just ignore it, cover it up. They've told us nothing. They've told us virtually nothing. And the more silence that we get, the more plausible the scenario is that somebody within the Biden administration tried to murder Trump. It's the only thing you can conclude at some point. They've been so incompetent in guarding him that almost by itself is a conspiracy to have him murdered. I mean, that's what point I was trying to get across the other day. It's like, if you're so incompetent that you're going to obviously fail at a task, well, what does it matter? If you're stupid or you're corrupt, what's the difference? You're going to fail at the task. And if somebody knows you're going to fail at the task, they can take advantage of that. Johnson made the point that the Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service had provided him nothing. He's asked for it. They've given him nothing. To my knowledge, they've given the entire Congress nothing. I don't know that they're going to even testify, that they're trying to set up hearings where these bastards are going to testify. And there's talk about closed doors and stuff like that, which is crap. I mean, that's absolute crap. They need to testify before the American public. Otherwise, there's no telling what they'll say behind closed doors. It'll be just covered up. It has to be in open before everyone. I mean, I don't know really that they're opening up what their Secret Service procedures are is going to really affect anybody, because apparently they're so incompetent it doesn't guard anyone anyway. So the local law enforcement was talking to Johnson. They were talking to him. So he got a lot of information from them. And some of the information he was getting from them was basically they were cut off from the Secret Service, that they kind of showed up, they were there to help, but the Secret Service communicated them with very little, if at all. They weren't well instructed about what they were there to do. And then weirdly enough, it was those guys that almost prevented the assassination attempt. That is things as basic as having everybody on the same radio channel, that they didn't even have that, which right there, that's like, how's that possible? How's that possible? You know, in other words, if one of your guys sees a shooter imminently about to engage and he can't warn the team on the stage, isn't that just basic 101 common sense? How is that possible? So all this stuff is just, you know, think about how it breaks down, basically. Joe Biden has done everything possible. Joe Biden and his administration, because remember, Joe Biden apparently is out of the picture now. So Joe Biden and his minions, which would include Kamala Harris, the leftist Marxist media, they've done everything they can to dehumanize Donald Trump, to make him less than human, to make him a monster, to make him hated by the American population. Furthermore, they've attacked him, they've tried to bankrupt him, they've tried to silence him, they've tried to put him in a cage until he dies, and now they're tasked with guarding him so he doesn't become a target or get injured, and they screw that up too in a colossal Keystone Cop manner, where it's like, that was your job, Biden administration. That was your job to protect that guy. And you failed, as you fail at everything. Well, now, was that on purpose? It was your job to protect him, and gee, you almost got him killed. That's what you're looking at here. It's like, how do you look at that any other way than, well, they just, you know, left the door open and hoped someone would take a shot at them. They're not sorry. They're not sad. We're living in very unique times right now. This is not your parents' America. This is not at all your parents' America. You've got guys stepping down from the positions of power who haven't been seen in public for, 72 to 96 hours, just gone, disappeared. Where's the guy? Is he dead? You know, where's Jill Biden? You know, there's no reason in the world that the American people should not have seen these people today when they stepped down from power, which makes you wonder, exactly how did this all happen? You know, what do you really want to step down from power? Or is there a blackmail component here? Is it even Americans blackmailing him? Remember, this guy is into the Chinese like crazy. So are they blackmailing him? It's all very disturbing. You see little glimpses of it break the surface of the water, and then boom, right back under, submerges. And you go, I don't know, what did I see there? What was that? Was that the Loch Ness Monster? I don't know. Just little glimpses of what is going on behind the scenes. But this is power play like we haven't seen in a long time in this country. And it's disturbing. It really is. What makes it even further disturbing is that we continue to swap punches with a nuclear power. That's pretty much like, to me, they're, in case of emergency, break glass. In case they finally decide we cannot beat Donald Trump. We were going to try Biden, he lost. We were going to try Kamala Harris, the polls say she's going to lose too. Well, we can't let him win. For the life of me, I do not know why the answer is that we can't let him win. He's already been in office. Nothing that terrible happened. But for some reason, the Marxists just seem like they've gotten in there now and they're determined to stay in there. So that break glass scenario is sitting right there, where all of a sudden they just initiate a hot shooting war with Russia. It wouldn't be hard. And now you got martial law, you got the elections are canceled, and we got real trouble. And you're saying, how's that possible? That will never happen. Really, really. The President of the United States just stepped down via fax, basically, via PDF file. He's been not seen. It's almost 12 hours since this guy abdicated the throne, and he hasn't been seen. How is that possible? You've got Donald Trump, favored to win the presidency, missed having his brains blown out by an inch. You're living in a world right now where anything is possible. Anything is possible. Hey, let's go there, let's go there. Is Joe Biden even alive? Perhaps he was poisoned last week. They tried to assassinate Trump, they missed. They want to get rid of Biden, he won't go. How hard is it to poison the guy? Clearly, his Secret Service protection is pretty leaky at best. So if, say, the deep state wanted to poison the guy, could they have pulled it off? I think they could have. So you heard it here in the barn. It would not shock me if we find out by Friday that Joe Biden's dead. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Not at all. I hope that's not true, because that's just more of a mess. That's more bad things. That's bad. Bad, bad, bad. It's all bad. Right now, a lot of bad things are happening. And you're hoping that the end will come through it somehow, and the American people will rise up despite all the bad things and say, we're voting for Donald Trump. You can't kick us off of that. This is the guy that fights for us, and we're voting for him. And we're going to vote for him in such numbers that you can't steal it, you can't cheat us. It's too obvious that he's going to win. No one's going to believe it if you tell us otherwise. So we're going to win. And that's what we've got to hope for. All this stuff is so terrible, these breaking of the norms. Somebody took a shot at the president. We still have no idea why, and I don't believe that for a second, that they don't know this guy's ideology. Of course they do. They're hiding it. Of course they're hiding it. I told you, it was reported by the New York Post by one of the kids in his class, said he wore the mask, wore it long after COVID was over. Only rabid leftists wear the mask, period. He's a leftist. Of course he is. Why else would he try to shoot the president? Why else would he try to shoot Trump? Anyway, I don't know I gave you a whole lot of information in this episode just because it's still in flux, and you're not going to know who the Democrat nominee is even tomorrow. They've got until August, and, Obama's slow. Kamala's trying to lock it up here in the first week. Just run around, grab all the support you can, and just say, I'm the nominee. And Obama's going to hold back, and he's going to have somebody he wants to run, and then we'll see, whether he's able to elbow Kamala out of the way. He has to get her out of the way, but he has to get her out of the way such that the Harris backers come over to his side. And he may be powerful enough to do that because, everybody loves old Barack Obama. Old B.O., we all love him. So it'll be interesting. I think that if I had to guess right now, Obama's going to get his way. You'll have a nominee, and it ain't going to be Kamala Harris. That's my initial gut reaction right now. I could be wrong. I may change my mind. But with so much in flux right now, I'll give you that. I'll give you an opinion. I'm not married to it, like I said. But Obama's the most powerful Democrat, probably the most powerful man in the world. He's the one, I'll back off on that because he doesn't have money. The money people are the one that control the world. Obama's he's the one that gets the work done for him. He's the one that's doing the dirty work. They control him with the money. But ultimately, they have to rely on Obama to pull the strings. So he's very, very powerful, high table member. And I believe he ultimately will get what he wants, which is not Kamala Harris, strangely enough. All right, so much to do, so much to think about. Let's sit tight. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Joe Biden appears tomorrow. He's got to appear tomorrow. If he doesn't appear tomorrow, then that's really worrisome. That really is. That's really worrisome to me. So who the hell is running the country? But hey, free speech. Let's enjoy it while we can. I'm Arnold. I believe in it. We'll talk again.